viewers, welcome to another interesting episode of Football Unfiltered. And here in the studio, I have my wonderful analyst, Blaze and Emmanuel here with me. You guys are welcome.
Thank you, Bube. It's been a while.
It's good to see you, Emma. It's good to see you, Bube.
Same here.
Yeah, it's been a long while.
Yeah, it's actually been a long while. So how was the international break for you guys? Please, how was it for you?
Exciting in the beginning, then disappointing at the end of the day, because we as Nigerians, we want to be in the World Cup by 2026, and unfortunately we are able to win one match and then draw one match. Then everybody is now hoping on Jesus. I feel that to perform a miracle, I feel that even the Super Eagles players at the moment, those that are Catholic, all their chaplets, they are soaked it on water now, and we are praying to God that a miracle happens and we are going to be in the World Cup by 2026. It's going to be quite very unfortunate that we are not in the World Cup.
Yeah.
I hope eventually we qualify, but we saw that 1-1 draw. It felt like a loss and it was disappointing. But maybe Emma experienced something different. Maybe Emma is no longer in Nigeria. Maybe he went to support Saka in England.
Funny enough, I didn't even watch any of England's match over the break. I just was hoping on Nigeria's qualification.
Yeah.
So I did not want to watch any other match. I just was waiting for Nigeria against Rwanda and Nigeria against Zimbabwe, because I needed to see my country after missing out at the last World Cup. I was just hoping and praying that we were going to get that 6 points, but unfortunately we were able to get just 4 points. And like Blaze is saying, we are hoping for a miracle, and also the 3-point deduction that we are expecting FIFA to do to South Africa. But nevertheless, we'll keep supporting our country, and we hope that we'll qualify through the playoff, because if we are hoping to qualify through the group stage, it's going to be difficult. Our biggest threat is South Africa. They are already 13 points. So even if they remove the 3 points, we still need to beat them and beat the rest of our matches, which is going to be difficult for you to beat your 4 remaining matches. Well, that's football for us.
Let's hope for the best.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we are already in the week 31 of the EPL. We've played 31. Okay, with this game that we are about analyzing, to be 31 games out of 38 games that we are supposed to play. So that means we have 7 games
to go. Yeah.
To go to the end of the EPL. And looking at the first game that we play, it's going to be between Wolves and West Ham, and I'll be starting with you in Manchester. What are your expectations this game?
Well, if you look at the table, you can see that West Ham is just 16th on the table, and Wolves is 17th on the table. Yeah. But the goal difference, I think the difference in points is much. West Ham is 34 points, while Wolves is 26 points. So I think Wolves does not have anything at stake here, because even if you defeat West Ham, which is not possible, though you are playing at home, you will be getting 29 points, which still makes you very far from from going anywhere. The 3 teams that are going on relegation, which is Ipswich, Leicester City and Southampton, they are going on relegation. There's no hope now. What we're looking at now is for people to just clubs now to just gather points. That's all. We, as it stands now, we know the people that are winning the league, which is Liverpool. Every other team here is just fighting for a spot either in the Europa League or. So for me, this match is going to be like anybody who is capable of scoring more goals, because definitely it's going to be a good team to score match. Yeah. There are 2 teams that attack. Wolves are teams that whether you're winning them 5-0, they don't care. They will keep attacking and then they will get a goal. So for me, it's going to be a good team to score, and anybody who is capable of scoring more goals wins the match. Yeah. So I think I'll go with the both team to score and anybody to win the game.
Okay, so let's look at the next game that we played, and it's between Arsenal and Fulham, the daily game. So I'll be asking you, please, what do you think, seeing that Fulham I think Fulham.
We played a draw in the first leg
Yeah.
in Fulham's
Right.
in Fulham's home.
Okay, so looking at this being a derby game, what are you?
I expect it to be a derby game because it's Fulham and it's
Yeah.
Arsenal. It's a London derby game, and
Yeah.
most times these derby games are always difficult, right? You see a team that is not really strong when they're playing naturally, and they start when it's a derby game, and you're thinking, is this the same team that played the last game? But for Fulham, for instance, for Fulham in particular, they are 8th on the league table, and it's not just 8; they are 8 with about 45 points, right? And 45 points, when you compare it to the top 4, is like just 4 points behind a Chelsea that is 4th. You know what I'm trying to say? So this is a team that
Also want to
get that point to be able to be in Europe. Even if they don't get to the Champions League, they get to the Europa League, and maybe at worst the European Conference League. So I feel it's going to be a game for Arsenal to beat Fulham. At the moment, we know that there's no Jupiter that will make them win the league. So what they're trying to do is to gather any point they can gather so that they will remain where they are at the top 4 level. So coming to this Fulham is a derby game, and Fulham, just like Emma pointed out, in their last game, in their last match this season, it was a draw. So it's a team that anytime they play Arsenal it's usually difficult for Arsenal to play them. And if you have followed Fulham this season, they're a team to beat. Anytime you meet them, you have to be at your very best to be able to beat that team. So I'm looking forward to that. And I hopefully, because I am also struggling for the top 4, hopefully for the first time in my life, I will say Arsenal should beat them so that the competition I have for that top 4 position will reduce. Because immediately, if Arsenal eventually loses that game, then there is a lot of pressure for teams on Chelsea, on Man City, on even Nottingham Forest that is on the top 4.
Okay, so quickly let's look at the next game that we played, and it's between the almighty, and I'll call them almighty, Nottingham Forest and our brother club, Man United. So seeing that Nottingham Forest is seated comfortably in the 3rd position, and Man United, they've been struggling. They've been trying recently, trying to maintain the score, trying to pick up points in the league. So what do you think will play out in this game?
I see that game as a draw. Yeah, because Nottingham Forest, surprisingly, from the beginning of our analysis, we've been saying Nottingham Forest will draw, and our analysis of predictions is going the other way around. They are fighting to remain in that position because they know they cannot dispute Arsenal. So the best for them is to remain there. Either they win a game or they draw. And so far, you've been seeing that they've been fantastic so far. But I can only give Man U a leverage because Nottingham Forest will be playing with this coming weekend with I think Bournemouth or I think Brighton in the FA Cup. So the next game will be in the Premier League, which is 3 days after. So definitely there should be some fatigue and all that. But then we know that Man U is not a team that you can bank on. Especially the fact that they are playing away.
The fact they are playing is small thing because it's easier to bank on Man U if they are playing.
If they were playing a Tottenham or a Liverpool, you see them. Yeah,
it's another team altogether.
But they just take the game as a child's play, and so I'll go with a draw because the first game they played a 3-2 match and Forest won the game. I think in this time around, Man U won to kind of retaliate, but Forest on the other hand, they are playing home, so definitely they want to fight or want to hold the game because they don't have anything to lose at the end of the day. Even if they lose the game or they draw the game, they are still hoping to go for the Champions League. So for me, I'll go with a draw in that game.
Okay, so quickly let's look at the next game that we played, and it's between Southampton and Crystal Palace.
Let's just leave it. Crystal Palace has won now because just like Emma pointed out, those 3 guys at the bottom of the table, the Southampton, the Ipswich Town, the Leicester
City,
it's as if they just came to the Premier League to just mark attendance and
give points
and then go back because they just came together and they're going back together. There's no fighting spirit. In fact, I think the only club there that is even trying to compete Ipswich Town.
Yeah.
But Southampton, what is going on? Leicester I was looking at Leicester's statistics in their last 7 games. They've not scored a goal. They're not saying win, no. They've
Scored a goal.
Scoring one.
Even after sacking their coach, we felt he's going to bring a magic or something.
And all that.
But I think it's beyond the coach.
It's beyond the coaching problem. I feel that most of these teams, you're coming to the Premier League and you feel that you continue to do magic with those guys that played in the Championship. You're not strengthening your team. You're not
buying players,
and you feel it's not the same thing, for Christ's sake, right? The Premier League, we know how well the Premier League is funded, and the Premier League teams, the players have quality. If you want to compete in the
look at Man City now, even with the quality of players, they are still buying.
Struggling. They are still
Chelsea
trying to buy.
That's a team that wants to compete. So you can't be carrying players from Championship and you're coming to compete.
I don't understand strengthening your team in the Premier League. I don't think you're serious. So I feel for this particular game, it's just less
a walkover,
A walkover. I said less now.
Crystal Palace,
should collect their
3 points,
Okay, so we'll see how that will play out. So quickly, let's look at the next game that we played, and it's between Bournemouth and Ipswich Town. I really don't know how Ipswich can be. Very stubborn.
When it comes to
very stubborn team. And I know he's so what's your take?
Well, in the first game, I'm looking at the first game here. Bournemouth defeated Ipswich Town. I think I could recall. I watched that game. In the first half, they played 0-0 in the first half. Second half, Ipswich Town scored, and then Bournemouth scored again, and then they won that game. I think in the 2 games, in their last game rather, I think the major problem Ipswich is having is that they don't know how to hold a lead.
Yes.
Kind of. So invariably, even if they score, they'll concede. But the problem now is how can you be able to hold the goals? Because Premier League, we know it's a goal scoring league where anybody can play you 5-0, 4-0. The ability to be able to withstand, defend, from conceding more. Definitely, you should be expecting goals in that match. Ipswich Town want to score in that match because in their first game they scored. Their last game they scored against Bournemouth. Bournemouth on the other hand want to score. So for me, I'll go with the Bournemouth because Ipswich Town, they don't have anything to fight for.
Exactly. I wanted to point out.
Even if they win, okay, look at the table now. I'm seeing here they are 18 on the table. 17 points. So even if you win Bournemouth or win your next, because you have just 7 matches remaining now. Even if you win your next 3-4 matches, I don't think they can be able to dispute West Ham, which is the closest team to the relegation. So I think they'll just go there to play for the sake of playing, fulfill righteousness.
You know one thing with these bottom teams now, they are witches.
They are spoilers. Thank you. That's the way I was about to say. Yeah. They are spoilers. And if you're not careful, they will deny you of a place in the Europa League or conference. So the big team should be careful. Careful with them because they don't have anything they are fighting for. So invariably, they are coming to spoil things for you.
Yeah.
What I wanted to point out is that Bournemouth at the moment they have 46 points, and when you look at Chelsea that is fourth on the table, they have 49 points. Bournemouth have either 45 or 46 points. I'm not very sure.
Sorry, 44.
44 points. So Bournemouth is also part of those teams that want to go to Europe. So whether it's the Champions League or the Europa League or the European Conference. So this match is more important to
Bournemouth than to Ipswich. Because a win will give them 47 points, which makes them at par with Brighton, which is also 47 points. And Brighton, on the other hand, we don't know if they can be able to win their next game because they are playing against the Fulham in a FA Cup. Just a 3-day game, 3 days different. You're playing in next game, so definitely fatigue. And they're just coming back from the international break. Definitely, some of the players will still not be, that fit, to play. So
let's see how it go. But for me, I think it's a game that Bournemouth should win.
Okay, so quickly, let's look at the next game that we're playing, and it's between Brighton and Aston Villa.
Big game. It's a big game. For now, these kind of games are big games in the Premier League because Aston Villa is now one of the top 6 Premier League teams.
And they are playing quarterfinals in the
Champions League. So
surprisingly,
give them their respect. Give them their respect. I always talk about, when I talk about Aston Villa, I always point out that they have a very good coach. That's Emery. They have a very good coach. And these two teams, why I pointed out is a big game is that these two teams, if you check where they are on the table, they're fighting for an European spot.
So
you can't outrightly say, okay, Brighton will win or Aston
Yeah.
Villa, because it's going to be a very competitive match. The two teams need that 3 points. Brighton, Aston Villa, and this hand will say, we played the Champions League. How can we play Champions League and get to the semi-final and we are not playing in Europe the next season?
Yeah.
Brighton on the other hand will say, we have tried our best now. Let's make me test this Champions League or this European League. Do you get that? So I think it's going to be a very, very competitive match, very, very strong match. But at the end of the day, I feel that it's a match Aston Villa should win.
Okay. So
even though I pointed that goals, there will be goals.
Yeah, sure. They play a 2-2 draw in the first leg.
Yes.
So you should expect goals.
Yes.
But somebody should win. They shouldn't play a draw. They shouldn't. Yeah, they shouldn't. Because the courage and the motivation, morale from the last game against Club Brugge in the Champions League. So invariably, they are motivated now to play any team in the Premier League. So we should expect Aston Villa to win that game. They should win that game.
Okay. So quickly, let's look at the next game that we played, and it's between Newcastle and Brentford. So quickly, what are your expectations?
These are two teams that they have attacking mindset. And if you look at the table here, you can see that Newcastle is 6th on the table, while Brentford is 11. And Newcastle, somehow, if they win that game, they will have a spot to fight for in the Europa League. Because a win will guarantee them 50 points. So I believe it's a game that Newcastle, they won the Carabao Cup against Liverpool surprisingly, a 2-1 win. So, and after that game they went on the break. So invariably they are coming back with that momentum. After 70 years we've gotten a trophy. You can still be able to fight for a place in the Europa League. So that mindset will be there, and they are playing at home. So if you look at their head to head here, I think the last game, Brentford winning or in the last game. If you look at their previous matches, you see that Newcastle have had upper hands. The last 5 matches, Newcastle have had 4 wins, and Brentford have had just 1 win. So invariably, Newcastle is the upper hand here, considering the fact that they are actually very close to going for the Europa League.
Another team gunning for the European.
Thank you. So for me, I'm going to go for a Newcastle win in that game. But Brentford should get a goal at least. So we should be expecting the both teams to score, but a Newcastle to win in that game.
Okay, let's see how that will play out. So quickly, let's look at the next game that we played, and it's between Manchester City and Leicester.
Can we just add that?
Can we just keep
this bottom team.
It's true.
It's
true,
but not for Man City.
The thing about I get Bube's point. The thing about these teams, at this stage of the competition, is that they might just come and they just want to win you. Right? I don't need this game, but they're just sitting back and defending. But the truth is that Man City, they are trying their best to go to the Champions League next season.
Knowing that they're missing out on the trophy, or they've missed out
on almost every trophy this season. I don't think they're going to end this season with any trophy. So they really want to go into next season at least to be in the Champions League. So, and they're meeting in Leicester that it's not that they have not won their last game.
They've not scored a goal.
I'm pointing this thing out. They've not scored a goal. But what are you playing after 7 games, 8 games? You have not scored a goal. You get that? So if you have not scored a goal in 7 days, is it now against Man City that you now learn how to score? You now learn how to score goal. And he's a team now that has players like Mamush that is doing exceedingly well since he came. They have a player like Haaland that is angry. He's angry. He wants his golden boot. So you're telling me that Leicester will come and I don't know. No matter how stubborn they want to be, I feel that is at that 3 points for Man City.
Okay. So let's look at the next game that we played. And it's between Liverpool and Everton, the champions. Should we crown them?
No, we should. Even though UEFA will not do it because it's against their rules. You have to wait. But everybody knows they are the champions. So invariably, obviously, they should be able to defeat an Everton. I don't think that match is going to be.
Everton is an unserious club, but whenever it's against Liverpool, not even a big team, Liverpool in particular, because you know it's a derby game.
Yeah, it's true.
If you watch their last game, I was wondering. Everton now, man. They're not playing anything. But you know, they meet a Liverpool, right? It's a thing that all their players get. It's the same thing.
They play 2-2 in the first leg. 2-2 in the first leg.
The last goal came in the dying minutes when the game wanted to finish, and you see as Everton rejoiced as if they won the final of the Champions League. So it's to show you how I think it's one of the strongest debuts in the Premier League at the moment. Liverpool against Everton. So I feel that you cannot just write up and say Liverpool will win, even though we expect Liverpool to win, because these are guys that we are looking at those that will win the trophy. So we expect Liverpool to win, but it's a derby game. You can't just write it off. You can't just say Liverpool will win just like that, because I know that Everton will put up, even for no reason, even though they know that this winning or not winning is not going to add anything to them, but for no reason, making Liverpool lose points is enough joy
for them,
or an Everton player. So I feel that it's an open game and anything can happen.
Okay, so let's look at another derby game that we played within the week, and it's between Chelsea and Spurs.
I feel it's a big game, like you said, it's a derby game, but it's Spurs, right? Whenever we play Spurs, we know how to beat Spurs. If you can remember,
and they are not good at away.
They're not good at away.
Check their records. They always lose at away. So invariably, you should expect a win for Chelsea in that game.
We should win that game. We look at our last match. We were winning 2-0, and we came back to win that game 4-2 and 4-3. 4-3 at the end of the day. So it's Spurs. It's Spurs. Coupled with the fact that Chelsea also wants to go to the Champions League, and I know that Maresca. I think that Maresca will take that game serious, because he's not pressured. Even me, I'll go and tell him that.
But wait, hold on. Let me banter you a little. Who is striking for you in that game? Because I want to talk about his back. I know very well that in their last 2 matches, Chelsea was finding the net in their last matches. So let's not even forget that.
Of course, let's not forget that we have been struggling.
So I have to remind you, so you don't get carried away.
No, the only reason there's a team that I would have seen in these fixtures today, and I would have calmed down. The only reason why I am having hope that we'll win is because it's Spurs, right? It's Spurs.
We records
all of us know Spurs, right? When you expect them to do something,
they will not.
So there's a thing that it should have been, and I'll say, we have been neither here or there in our last few games. But I feel it's Spurs, and if we cannot win Spurs by Thursday, then I don't think we deserve going to the Champions League.
Okay, so our darling viewers, want to especially thank you for always supporting us, for always being part of the show. And please, if you're yet to subscribe to our channel, kindly click on the subscribe button below, and don't forget to click on the notification button so you get notification of our programs that will be coming to you through this channel. So guys, this is how we're coming to the end of the show, and my special appreciation goes to my wonderful analyst.
Thank you, Ube. Thank you. I always look forward to be here, a place where I'll air my opinion and banter blaze sometimes.
At the end of the day, man, we'll talk about it, but you're going to be in the Champions League on Tuesday. You're playing Real Madrid. At the end of the day, we'll see. Remember when we started the show this season, Emma was so confident that they will either win the Champions League or they will win the Premier League. So that Real Madrid you're looking for, but I'm giving it to you.
But my happiness is that I defeated you. I'm so happy about it.
And that was before the
national break. I told you I will defeat you that game.
It's fine.
So even if you don't win the Champions League, I'm happy that I've been able to get a record for Chelsea.
I've been saying consistently that at the end of the day, Chelsea will win the European Conference League.
You said it.
I will use that one at home. What did you win?
Can I shock you? Can I shock you? No, you are always shocked. Can I shock you?